Today, we are introducing our first panel discussion. This panel discussion is titled Crypto and Digital Asset Discussions, Optimizing the Regulatory Environment for Digital Assets Adoption in Nigeria. And of course, we want to welcome to the panel. We'll start with the moderator for this session. He is the founder of the Charles Winnisboro Foundation. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Jude Ogene.
Can you please clap, ladies and gentlemen? Also to join the panel, please, ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Chuta, Chimezie. Can we please clap for him? Founder, Blockchain Nigeria User Group. Ladies and gentlemen, can you clap better, please? Also, I want to welcome the Legal Advisor, Securities and Exchange Commission Nigeria, Ekong.
And last but not least, I want to welcome a member of Infusion Group, Senator Iheyen. Again, the title for this panel discussion is Crypto and Digital Assets, Optimizing the Regulatory Environment for Digital Asset Adoption in Nigeria.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for that wonderful introduction. My name again is Jude Ogene. And as Inam mentioned, I'm the founder of Charles Winnisboro Corporation. But I'm actually wearing a second hat today, and that is as the General Counsel and Chief Compliance Officer for a company called OpenNode, which is a Bitcoin payments infrastructure company. And it is in the course of my digital assets work that I've come across each of the members of this illustrious panel. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to the panel for introductions, and then we'll just get right into it. Chuta, take it away.
All right. Good morning, everyone, and thanks for showing up for this awesome event. Like I've already been introduced, Chimezie Chuta, founder and coordinator of Blockchain Nigeria User Group. In addition to that, I'm also the vice chairman of the Blockchain Industry Coordinating Committee of Nigeria. Incidentally, the government blockchain policy, a document that was passed 2 years ago, got a steering committee, and I also happen to be the chairman of that committee. So it's always exciting for me to be in any environment where people are gathered, especially young people who are involved in blockchain, Web3, crypto, and any of these other innovative 4RI technologies. I'm looking forward to having a great time with you guys. Thank you.
Senator.
Hello, everyone. My name is Senator Iheyen. I am the lead partner at Infusion Lawyers. I currently am the legal compliance person for the Blockchain Industry Coordinating Committee of Nigeria, Beacon, which Chuta just mentioned. I am the immediate past president of the stakeholders in blockchain technology.
Division of Securities and Investment Services Division, where we review transaction documents for public offerings, issuing debt issuances, equities, debt conversion, you name it, and also capital reconstruction of companies and all such transactions. Thanks.
All right. Thank you very much. So, you know, this could be a very dry and academic discussion around law and regulation and policy. But given the fact that this is the last day of the Omniverse, this is focused on the youth, and it's also focused on monetization, I've asked the panelists, as they think through their answers, to focus on how we can help these young people get their coins, right? It's all about empowering the youth, making sure that they take advantage, we give them the opportunities that they can take advantage of. So the aspect that we will focus on will also include economic opportunities for the youth in this fast-growing sector. Before I ask the first question, let me just start with a few framing thoughts. Nigeria is, I think, number 2 in the world in crypto adoption. That's according to Chainalysis. It is the number 1 country in Google searches for Bitcoin and crypto. And last year alone, through official channels, about 60 billion worth of transactions, $60 billion worth of transactions in the P2P space, peer-to-peer, and dollar-denominated transactions with stablecoins were conducted in this country. So that just gives you a sense of the scale of the industry, even as it is confronting some headwinds. So with that, let me go into the first question. And the first question is for Ime from the SEC. And that is, how can Nigeria, given what I've just set out, how can Nigeria balance the need for international regulatory alignment with the unique needs of its crypto market?
Okay. In what we do at the SEC really is we look at international regulations, and we take into consideration what other countries that have gone ahead of us in this game have done. And then it's really an issue of proportionality and adaptation. We look at what will work in our market, because knowing that you are still growing, emerging, in as much as there's been a lot of retail interest, more or less, in the crypto trade. But in terms of the regulatory space, there's almost been nothing until recently that we came up with our rules. And so for those rules, we look at adapting what is already existing and not creating anything new, and bringing it into our market. And then in the course of coming up with these rules, we have worked with those in the industry. And there's always, a back and forth, trying to get what will work, what are you comfortable with? And sometimes we come up with things, even as early as last week, we had a meeting with 2 entities, 2 platforms. We had put out amendments to our rules, and they got back to us and said, these things you guys want to do is not going to work. And so we said, okay, come in, explain to us, and tell us why it will not work. And we had that meeting, and we adopted what they said. So really, it's modifying to suit our market, and also trying to ensure that we keep compliance costs down, because we want the industry to grow. We are not trying to kill it. So basically, that's what we do.
Okay, thank you very much. So being nimble, working with stakeholders, and working to keep compliance costs down, I suspect that's a theme that we're going to come back to again in this conversation. Chimezie, let me turn to you next. Last year, I think there was a rebound in remittance dollars. I think it ticked back up to just under 30 billion, at least through official channels. But it's still the case that when you use traditional financial institutions, repatriating money to Africa is still the highest cost in the world. So with that in mind, how can Nigeria leverage crypto to improve remittance efficiency and reduce transaction costs?
All right, thank you, Jude. Remittance is very important for Africans generally, because I cannot imagine any family in Africa that doesn't have someone in Europe or in diaspora that is working. I mean, we communally gathered, sell family land to send someone out to go work and send us money back. And at the end of the day, you find out that much of that money is also retained by the remittance companies. In fact, when you look at the money transfer workflow, there are a whole lot of middlemen, and everybody gets a cut when you want to send money. it's easier to travel to somewhere like Cameroon with your cash to give the person than to try to send it. It's much, much faster to travel physically to Cameroon to give him money than to try to use traditional remittance platforms for sending that kind of money. So here again is where crypto plays key role. We are in an era of revolution on stable coins. And what stable coins do is they mint the fiat currencies of the countries that issued them into the blockchain and back them up one-to-one in physical cash in verified and audited banks. Now, once the asset is on the blockchain, it begins to immediately leverage the speed, the cost effectiveness, and the borderless nature that crypto technology offers. Now, a couple of years ago, the central bank issued CBDC, and their intention, part of it was that it was going to help in remittances. But it didn't really work because CBDCs are not really cryptos. They are digital currencies, okay? But they are not really crypto in the sense that they are in public blockchain. And that is why it had not been very successful in enabling international remittances as we must have expected that it would be. But just a couple of weeks ago, I think 2 weeks ago, SEC licensed a CNGN consortium that is right now offering stablecoin, and that is really making a difference. From the last conversation I had with one of the team members, they had done over 60 million naira in CNGN in the last 2 weeks. And it's something to look at because it's really creating the opportunity. So if you look at many other blockchain companies right now, all of them are looking at stable coins. In Kenya, you have Case. You go to Ghana, you have stable coins. You go to Canada, and so stable coins is one of the opportunities that is available for us to both lower the cost and bring in our national currency into the decentralized work environment so that people can actually use them easily when they are building new products and new services.
Thank you. And thank you for that, Chimezie. And just for the people, I'm sure everybody knows what a CBDC is, but just in case, the acronym stands for Central Bank Digital Currency. Senator, that's a good transition to you, and I think you can help us bridge what Chimezie and Ime have both spoken about, right? So we have this burgeoning technology, stable coins. It has great utility in the market, but as Ime said, we want to keep compliance costs down. And I will tell you, just from my own role as a GC and internal chief compliance officer, AML and KYC costs, the cost of compliance, are the bane of my existence. So, what are the most effective AML and KYC practices that we can implement in Nigeria, and think about it also through the lens of optimizing efficacy, efficiency, and cost? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jude. The fascinating thing, or one of the fascinating things about cryptocurrencies and the blockchain technology generally is that there is a lot of transparency and traceability around it. Even though there is a general misconception out there that once it comes to crypto or blockchain, there is some level of opacity or darkness. If we understand the blockchain technology very well, especially those ones that are public blockchains, you find that there is a great level of transparency and traceability and security as well. I've started from there so that we understand that when it comes to AML, which is anti-money laundering, right? While cryptocurrencies generally have been built in a manner that reduces or removes third parties or centralized parties or middlemen from transactions, it does not remove the idea of AML or CFT, countering and terrorism, financing of terrorism. Now, let me quickly go back to 2017, when the Central Bank of Nigeria, for the first time, I always remember the dates, 12 January, it released a statement or circular to all banks saying that we understand that Nigerians are now adopting Bitcoin, Ripple, Ethereum, and the rest of them for transactions. Now, what we need you banks and financial institutions to do is not to stop at transacting. They said, ensure that when you're onboarding these customers, whether they are exchanges, individual customers, ensure anti-money laundering policies are complied with. In other words, the CBN in 2017 resisted the temptation of banning cryptocurrencies because they realized that it was still emerging. So allow the innovation to thrive, but ensure that there is a balance between innovation and regulation by bringing in AML. The banks comply by ensuring that before they onboard guys like Binance and the rest of them, Luno mentioned them, you must ensure that these guys have complied with KYC. And that also trickles down to the exchanges themselves and other crypto wallet services. Because by virtue of being banked, it now means that they too have to conduct KYC on their users. So when somebody goes out there and says that because you transacted in crypto, we cannot see the transactions, they are invisible, and money launderers and terrorism financiers are taking undue advantage of that darkness going on there. We always say as advocates that orientation is based on the wrong premise. Because if we understand the blockchain very well, you find that there are things that are traceable. Bitcoin, for instance, is one of the most traceable blockchains you can ever find. When the first use, one of the first or early uses of Bitcoin in Silk Road, or that platform, one of the first uses were decentralized, markets here and there, and then you find some bad players or bad actors trying to use this for crimes and fraud. The FBI, one of the statements they made is that because these guys use Bitcoin, it was easy for us to trace all of the transactions. Because before then, they were using cash, which isn't traceable. If I want to buy illicit stuff from you, I could just walk down the road and hand you over cash. But you can't hand over Bitcoin that isn't traceable. All of the transactions on the Bitcoin network since 2008 is traceable, right? So that one side. Rounding is up. The best practices for exchanges and other players. One, you must conduct KYC, know your customer, right? Requirements on your clients or customers, both entities and individuals. This is extremely important. Most of the cases we deal with back in the firm, with EFCC, with the Nigerian Police Cybercrimes Units, they are usually ones associated with the failure of players in the space to conduct adequate KYC. And so bad actors use it and disappear, so to speak. And because we have relatively lower level of capacity in the space, things around forensics or investigations can be quite tasking for the EFCC and the rest of them. So conduct KYC on your platforms. Ensure that you require these players to submit the correct KYC documents as well. There have been people we've seen in the space who fraudulently use fake identities. So you find that in the crypto space, we now have very advanced KYC system, more advanced than those in the traditional space. We now have selfies and all that, just to be able to be sure that whatever is uploaded on your platform is really reliable and authentic. Apart from conducting KYC, we know about the FATF, the Financial Action Task Force. One of its recommendations is that all players in the space should also now ensure that they collect relevant information. So however way you decide to model your platform, it's not an excuse. Most crypto players, or some crypto players, excuse certain compliance requirements on the basis that crypto is decentralized, we don't need central authorities, we don't want the banks. No, it won't work. So for the purpose of ensuring safety and security in the system, because we don't want to run down the financial system, we don't want to run down the economy. Headlines have been out there in the past few weeks in Nigeria regarding allegations of tax evasion, money laundering, terrorism financing, and the rest of that. How to ensure that all that is minimized, because they are not completely avoidable, is to proactively think about compliance from the beginning. And for the regulator part, it also means that we have to be adaptive. I think that in Africa, Nigeria as well, we try to cover the space all at once.
Right.
We need to have an adaptive journey as well.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, Senator, for that very exhaustive answer. In the interest of time, and again, consistent with the theme of today, I'm actually going to do a jump ball and then try to open up the floor for questions from the audience. And the jump ball is this. Hearing everything that you guys have just said, I would imagine if I were a young person in the audience, I would say, this all sounds very fascinating. How can I key into these kinds of opportunities? And so before I throw it over to the panelists, let me just say that I was on a panel yesterday talking about AI, and one of my closing remarks was that we should stop thinking about things like AI and crypto as vertical segments that don't touch. No, there's very much a Venn diagram where they intersect, and I believe this is one of them. So for example, I will tell you my pain point again is the cost and the time of conducting AML and KYC. If somebody could leverage AI to build a tool that would speed up that process, that person would have instant employability. So I'll throw it over to you, starting with you, Chimezie, and then we'll go down the line. How can our young people key into all of these opportunities that we've just talked about, whether it's on the AML compliance side, whether it's on the trading side? I've seen young people build all kinds of businesses on top of peer-to-peer exchanges. The opportunities, them boku. So please, how do they key in?
The opportunities are quite much, but I feel the sentiment in this room is a little bit dampened. How many of you guys checked your wallet this morning? It's not looking so fine. Yeah, Chika, I can see your hand there. You took a look at the Bitcoin is below 80,000, right? Okay. It doesn't anymore look like we're in a bull run, does it? I don't think so. That means some of our expectations in our fundamental analysis have been invalidated, okay? Because some of us had this opinion that in crypto, you could actually hit it big. And there was a whole lot of attention geared towards the bull run, such that I know some people who sold their lands, who borrowed money, who took the money that they kept for retirement, and they put them into crypto because they think it's going to give them opportunity to blow, okay? But here we are right now. Trump is president, the market and the stocks, they're all down. All our expectations, every single thing is down the drain for now. At least that's how it seems. Why am I saying this? Because we need to understand the opportunity, the vast opportunities that are available for young people in this industry. Trading crypto or holding digital asset is just a small part of that opportunity that is out there. There's so much more that is available for any of you for you guys to do. For instance, let's take a look at career pathways that can enable you to future-proof yourself in the emerging future. And Jude, you mentioned something about AI. Look, many people who are in this room who are not yet utilizing these AI tools, they are already at a disadvantage. I think yesterday, Anthropic released Sonnet 3.7, an incredibly smart model that thinks and does fantastic things that can help you to be faster in delivery of any of your jobs that you have or tasks that you have. That you are in crypto or blockchain does not exclude you from other because all of them are united. You could use AI to build predictive engines easily.
Right.
Assuming that holding digital asset is one of the things that you want to do. And you could do them. We had this conversation for this panel since yesterday, but I didn't sleep till probably around 3 a.m. because when I began to utilize Cloud Sonnet 3.7 Thinker for the applications I was building, I couldn't get up on my chairs because the speed of response, the accuracy of the outputs and all that makes you more like a superpower. So if you are young here, I believe most of you are young, you should actually take advantage of these innovations and turn yourself into some kind of superhuman. It gives you superpower. Innovative technologies empowers you to do the impossible. Only you, sitting down behind your laptop, just $20 subscription per month will make you a wonderful individual of value beyond your imagination.
Thank you very much. Now, I'm being told that time is up, but very quickly, can we just get 1 minute from Senator and then one from Ime on the same question?
It's just a very historic time. It's a time that is unprecedented. And as Chimezie has said, it's not just a crypto story. It is a complete story of emerging technologies that we can leverage today to solve problems and create massive opportunities. I had a law firm where we, on a daily basis, are interacting with founders, creating beautiful projects on crypto, on blockchain, and other technologies, including AI. What I would like to point out is that the more the problems that you see in Nigeria, in Africa, across the globe, the more the opportunity you have to create solutions that will move you to the next level. So we just have to be problem solvers. Once we can change our perspective from it's all problems to, oh, this is an opportunity, I am very sure, I'm certain that there is a whole lot that we can do together.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Senator. And then we'll close, last but not least, with Ime.
Okay, a quick one. I'm here as a regulator. I'm talking from a regulator's perspective, not Ime's perspective. So for us, the market's really in every industry leads, and then we follow with regulation. So like they've all said, it's for you to go out there, put in your thinking caps, and dare to dream and achieve those things. And then we'll come with regulations to ensure that bad actors don't get in and spoil your game. That's it.
All right. Thank you. And on that note, we'll bring this panel to a close. Thank you very much to the panelists, and thank you to the Omniverse for the opportunity to have this conversation.
Are there any questions?
Oh, sorry.
Let's take two
Yes.
questions.
I thought they were ushering us off the stage, but if there are any questions, please.
Okay, there's a hand here. Gentlemen, I'm coming to you. I like one male and one female to balance it up. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. My concern is about what exactly is the fear of the federal government regarding the challenges of adopting cryptocurrency. Because, for instance, take off Ecuador, El Salvador, the countries that have adopted crypto to a large extent. Regardless of what the state of the problem of the whole world is, they have hope of thriving high by the time everything begins to rise. I know of AI.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm not sure that we can hear the question.
Okay. What exactly is the federal government fear towards cryptocurrency adoption? Given that they have established KYC, anti-money laundering, counter-finance story, what exactly is their fear? Think about solving the problem. Look at the synergy between AI, blockchain, extended reality. Help the youth focus on how to solve this problem. Why are we stopping them from making progress by not allowing this thing to thrive?
Okay, so I think the essence of your question is, what is the government's attitude towards cryptocurrency, and why are they implementing measures that would seem counterproductive in terms of allowing the industry to thrive? Is that correct? Okay. I'm not sure who wants to take that question. The regulator in the
I think the question, I should take the question because
Okay.
he
And then we'll
just
go to email.
pointed to a policy. The government has put out a policy, and it is the national blockchain policy. And that tells you the mind of the government towards the innovation and the technology. And the core areas that that policy outlines for us to focus on at this time is innovation, adoption, and, implementation in areas and use case areas that align with the immediate needs of both the public and the private sector entity. And luckily for us, we are also enjoying an era where we have an SEC chairman that is vast in understanding of this industry. And they have graciously put out clear documents and pathway that outlines how virtual asset service providers can operate in this country. So you can see that that effort is already clearly put out there and defined. It's now left for us to do with it whatever we want to do with it. People are getting provisional licenses. Startups are getting funded to build test projects in sandbox environment and all that. So regardless of what you might look at on the general environment, note clearly that government intentions about this technology has been clearly defined in some of these efforts that I've made. But I think Ime will bring in something from there too.
I think he covered, because where I wanted to start from the paper that government put out on blockchain. But I'm bringing it home to the SEC. We encourage innovation. We want the market, this sector to thrive. It's a market to us because digital assets, tokens, issuances, and regulating the platforms and the exchanges is a market to us. We have even gone further. If you go to our website, the SEC website, you're going to see that we've gone further to set up a regulatory incubation, just further to what he has said, because he's covered ground really. And we have even the accelerated program, incubation program, for those that have started and are established, and there are certain parameters that have been set to qualify for that. So we encourage you, if you have an idea, bring it to us. We'll talk about it. And if it's something that we can regulate, kind of guide you to be able to operate in the space, we will. Nobody is saying that you can't do what you want to do. Like we said earlier, you're free to think and dream as big as you want. And then if you want to come to us, because once our rules come out, we need to know if the rules come out and you operate as a VASP in Nigeria as a custodian, and for every function covered under that rule, if you do not register with us, it will be an illegal operation. So bringing something under regulation does not mean it's dying or we are trying to stifle it. Like I said, we will work with you. We keep looking at the rules. Since we put it out, I think 2 years ago, we've been amending, and we have platforms that keep coming to us to tell us, look, this is it, this is how the market is now, this will not work and that will not work. And then we listen and we amend and take what they've said on board. So please, the SEC is there to make things work. And the main issue that the central bank had, he talked about the KYC issue, was the fact that there's a CBN directive that was released some years back. I can't really remember the year, that said that transactions within this space called Nigeria should be in naira. That was the main problem the CBN had, because these transactions were conducted in dollar. That was the main issue. So let's bear that in mind. It's not like they wanted to kill the market. They just wanted to understand it better and get it to comply with our rules. Thank you.
Well, there you have it, from the horse's mouth, from the SEC itself. Thank you. On that note, we're going to bring this panel to a close, but this is just the start of this conversation, and we encourage you, if you have questions of the panelists, to come up to them afterwards and ask them your questions. Thanks again to the Omniverse for affording us this forum, and please, a round of applause for the panelists.